Hello everyone, it's Crystal. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have a quick video because I know a lot of us have products from Stampin' Up! That are retired, but just because they are retired doesn't mean that you should stop using them. So I wanted to highlight the envelope punch board. It's a retired product, but I know a lot of us own it. So I wanted to just highlight it today and show you some of the envelopes I did. So, as you may be aware, you can create your own custom envelopes with this punch board. This column asks the card size. What size is the card that you need an envelope for? This tells you the size of the paper you need to cut so that you can make an envelope that fits this card. And this score line is reflected up here. You only need to look at this one time and score your paper the first time. So I made some envelopes today that will fit a 5x7 card. So right here, I looked at this line, 5x7 card. I cut some designer series paper down to 9.5 by 9.5. And then for my first scoring, I went to the 4-inch score line. And I have a bunch of envelopes here that I used. I used some retired designer series paper. Good thing about designer series paper is that it's double-sided, so you get 2 designs for your envelope. So here's one. This is the same one. So, yes, you can make envelopes for 5x7 cards a lot of different ways. But if you have some retired designer series, excuse me, if you have some retired designer series paper, there's no need to not use the paper. And if you have this envelope punch board, there's no need to let the punch board gather dust as well. So, here are some envelopes I made recently. I'm going to show you the process for those of us who own the envelope punch board but never used it. I know I have friends who buy things and then we never use them. So I want to encourage you to use the products that you already have in your house. So, as I said, I started off with a 12 by 12 piece of designer series paper. I cut it down to 9.5 by 9.5. So I have this paper left that I can use for other projects. So that's always good. So I have 2 left. I'll do it twice. So this is my last piece. I've already scored it and everything, but I want to show you how it starts. We take it. It started off as a 9.5-inch square. And then I would put the corner by 4 inches because the scoreboard tells me to line up at 4 inches. So I punched it, and then this is the scoring tool that comes with the punch board. So I would score it. I would punch it first, press this down, and then I would score it. Then I would turn it 90 degrees. Well, I guess it's turn it counterclockwise. You don't need to look at these numbers anymore. You just need, this is the score line right here. So I just have to line the score line up with this plastic piece. Line the score line up, punch, then score a new line. Turn it 90 degrees counterclockwise again. Line up the score line, punch, score a new line. Turn, last time, line up the previous score line with this plastic, punch, and then score a new line. And then you have 4 score lines, and then you have these cutouts from where you punched. And then this part of I pressed the end of the envelope, put it in here, and I round my corners. I like rounded corners. So that is it for the scoring board right now. So then I fold my this is going to be the outside of my envelope. When you score inside, you want to fold it so that the indentation is now up. So this is, so the green is the outside of my envelope, and the blue is the inside. So I take a piece of copy paper, I folded it so it's 7 inches wide, and I put it here so that I can use some glue, some adhesive to close the envelope. So I'm just scoring all my lines and make sure they're crisp. And then I take a pencil, and then I just make 2 tick marks on my copy paper. That lets me know not to put my glue past that point. Otherwise, it will be on the outside of my envelope. And I just take a glue stick, and it dries clear. Just put that there, and then I just shut my envelope and burnish it well so that the glue can adhere. And then the envelope is essentially done. But I like to, this little point right here, I like to fold that inside. I don't know if the instructions say you should do that or you have to do that, but for style wise, I like to do that. So I don't score it, I just fold it down. And then I take my scoring tool just to make a nice crisp crease. Then I fold it back, and I just put a dab of glue on it, just to make sure it will stay closed, and then burnish it some more, and the envelope is done. There's the finished product, and you have a nice, fun, whimsical envelope. So I'll go through it one more time. You look at the scoreboard, and you decide what size envelope you need. So I'm doing envelopes that will fit a 5x7 card. So that tells me I need to cut a paper 9.5 by 9.5. And my first score line is at the 4-inch mark. That's what this tells me. So I've already cut my paper. So when I started, I placed my paper, the edge of my paper at this 4-inch line. After I pressed my paper at the 4-inch line, I pressed this button, and then I took my scoring tool, and there's a ridge right here, and I just scored it. Took my paper out, turned it clockwise 90 degrees. You don't have to look at this anymore. I lined this right here, score guide. I lined my score guide up with my previous score line. Lined it up, punch, make a new score line. Take it out, turn it 90 degrees, line up the previous score line, punch, draw a new score line. Take it out, turn it 90 degrees counterclockwise, line up the previous score line, punch, draw a new score line, and then you are done. Then you can put the scoring board to the side. And these short ones, these are your side flaps. So you turn your side flaps in, actually, and the side that's face up, that will be the outside of your envelope. So score one side, flip it, score the second side. Score it real well. Then I have my paper, my guide here. I just use this just so I don't have glue everywhere. I'm pretty heavy-handed with glue. You fold up the bottom. Just make sure you crease it real well. There are my little dash marks right there for my glue. So yes, I'm pretty heavy-handed with glue, so I just don't want to make a mess for every single project. So there's a little extra there. Take that off. See? So just burnish it really well. Then I can remove my paper. Then I fold this in just to make it look a little more finished. Crease it nice and well. And I bring this out, and I'm going to use this. Nothing goes to waste. So I use this piece of glue that was extra, and then I turn this inside and burnish it really well. And there you have it. So if you own the Stampin' Up! Scoring board, I encourage you to get it out. Make some custom envelopes. If you have some happy mail you're going to send someone, having a pretty envelope is always nice to have that extra special touch. And if you have a stamp, you can still stamp something here. It's not something, you know, not too busy, but you can still decorate the envelope a little bit more. But just wanted to share that with you and encourage you to send some happy mail to someone you love. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and happy crafting.